What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 13 of the greatest podcast on turf. For this episode, we're going to be doing free agency grades and his little off-season grades so far.
Yeah, don't forget to like the video, subscribe if you're new. Check out the full link of the podcast with all the trades that just happened in the draft. We did a mock draft, went over alternated picks, decided who we thought was going to be best. We agreed on some picks, disagreed on some picks. That's pretty much it. All our links are in the description. Check us out, like, subscribe, all that. Ready to get into off season?
Yep.
Cool, let's get it. We each did 5 winners, 5 losers. The first 4 teams we're going to start out with were the consensus ones that we both agreed on who were winners and losers. So the first team, consensus, winners of the offseason / free agency so far, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. They brought back all their starters from the Super Bowl. They should be the favorites to repeat. They got these guys back on pretty favorable deals. I mean, I don't see how there's any way that they're not in the running for a next Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, the only guy who wasn't like a main player that they haven't bought back yet is Antonio Brown, and there's still so much time left, so they could bring him back. Who knows? But yeah, I don't have much to say. But Ryan pretty much said it. They bought back. They have every single starter at every position back. So I guess Tom Brady and the boys are going to run it back.
Yep. That's going to lead to the next team. Loss. Pretty much probably the top losers, according to a lot of people. That's the Chicago Bears. They decided that they got their franchise quarterback in Andy Dalton.
Former Dallas Cowboy.
I don't really think I have to say much here. They got Andy Dalton for $10 million, and they let Mitch Trubisky go for $2.5 million.
Listen, I'm going to say this right now. The Bears quarterback room is bottom of the league. They suck. Nick Foles, the backup, as he's still on the team, he sucks. He's bad. Worst quarterback in the league. Then you got the second worst quarterback in the league, Andy Dalton. There's a starter in front of him. They both suck. They're bad. The Bears are a very poorly run organization. Matt Nagy sucks. The GM sucks. I don't have much to say about the Bears, really. I mean, yeah, they didn't bring in a real quarterback. They let Mitch Trubisky walk and bring in Andy Dalton. That's what I wrote in my notes. Didn't bring a real quarterback in.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they signed Andy Dalton for more than Mitch Trubisky got signed is crazy to me.
Yeah, and Andy Dalton sucks, if I didn't already mention that. Our third team, another consensus winner, the Denver Broncos. I feel like the Denver Broncos have had one of the most productive and best off seasons. They've addressed pretty much every major positional need except inside linebacker, which we got to touch on a little more in our mock draft. Be sure to check that out if you haven't already. They bought back 3 of their main top priority free agents: Kareem Jackson, Shelby Harris, and Justin Simmons. And they also signed Kyle Fuller to 1 year. Was it $8 million?
I think about 8 or
8
10.
mil. I mean, Kyle Fuller is a definitely probably say top 7, 10 corner in the league. So that's just for 1 year. He got cut. That's a steal. And then they bought in Ronald Darby too to really help address that positional need. And they also have a guy like Bryce Callahan there, a corner who's not terrible. But I mean, their secondary, they pretty much addressed it all on the defensive side of the ball. So I mean, yeah, Broncos definitely won.
Yeah, what I like most is that they extended Justin Simmons and gave him a good deal. I think for me, all this really does is show that they need to. I think they're going to go offense with this 9 pick, and we're going to talk about that, debate that in the podcast. Yep, for sure. But that's just going to jump into the next team. They've been a team taking a lot of L's this offseason, and that's the Houston Texans. I saw that they added about 20 players in free agency, and basically all of them are old backups.
We're special team guys.
You got guys like Mark Ingram, Phillip Lindsay, and David Johnson as your running backs. You just keep bringing in guys that aren't very good, and it doesn't really make much sense to me.
Yeah,
it's kind of how that's really it.
For my notes on them, I wrote they bought in 20 backups. I mean,
great minds think alike.
Yeah, and Deshaun Watson, who knows what's going on there? He's got about almost 20 lawsuits now. Not looking good for the guy. Hopefully it's not true, but I mean, if it is true, we don't support that stuff by any means. But nah, I mean, I don't know. Looking like Tyrod Taylor is going to be the starter week 1. Not good. I mean, they're very bad. They're in a very bad situation. Like I said, I'm not going to be surprised if they win. I will be very surprised if they win more than 2 games next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair to say. And I'm just going to jump into the teams that we're starting to disagree on. Well, maybe not disagree, but just
different on our list.
Yeah. But for my first winner, or not first winners, but a winner, the New York Giants. and it sucks to say as a Cowboys fan, but they did pretty good in free agency.
Absolutely.
They brought in guys like Kenny Golladay and Adoree Jackson, which
huge signings for them.
Pretty big signing. I mean, Kenny Golladay is getting paid $18 million a year. It might be a little bit too much, but when Nelson Aguilar is getting paid $13, it's perfect. And then you got Adoree Jackson, who I think is getting paid about $13 million.
3 years,
39
mil was the contract, so
which isn't bad.
Not at all for a guy of his
Yeah.
caliber. I mean, Adoree Jackson's good. He's pretty young still.
So yeah, I mean, I think they did pretty good.
I like what they've
Boosted the secondary. They got Jabril Peppers, Bradbury,
Logan
Adoree
Ryan's there,
Jackson.
Adoree Jackson now.
And now they got wide receivers,
Xavier
Kenny
McKinney.
Galladay. They brought in John Ross.
Yeah.
Might not work, but hey.
If he can stay healthy, I mean, for $2.5 million total salary, it's not bad at all.
I mean, let's not forget, Dude was a first-round pick because of his speed. If they
Yeah.
can figure out a way to unleash it, then hey.
And another guy they also signed today, actually, Danny Sheldon, former Patriot. I mean, Joe Judge coached him back when he was in New England. Helps address that Dalvin Tomlinson loss that they suffered on the interior defense. But no, I agree with you on the Giants. They're in a very good spot going into next year. I feel like their division's completely up there between Dallas, the Giants, and the team I'm about to touch on next, the Washington football team. But the Giants, real good spot. Their defense, real good. I think needs some offensive line help. Maybe some help at linebacker. I don't think
quarterback's iffy too.
I'll give Danny Dimes another year. He's another one of the prove-it-year guys. Yeah. But yeah, not much else to say. You pretty much said it all. Another one of my winning teams, staying in the division, like I said, the Washington football team. The football team, they've had a very good offseason. They lost Ronald Darby to the Broncos, but they brought in a guy who, in my opinion, is a little bit better, and William Jackson from the Bengals. He's one of the better man corners in the league. They brought him in, decent deal, help address that secondary that lost to Ronald Darby. They also brought in Curtis Samuel to be that receiver too. My foot's itchy, sorry. But no, they didn't really have, I can't name another receiver on the team that's not Terry McLaurin.
No.
So Curtis Samuel coming into that offense is huge for them. I think good receiver too to accommodate Terry McLaurin and whoever the quarterback is going to be. It's looking like either it's going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick, another guy they signed. I think was that 1 year, 10 mil, same as Andy Dalton. And then they got Taylor Heineke too. They re-signed him early, 2 year, 5 mil maybe, something like that. But yeah, I think the football team have had they haven't made a lot of signings, but the signings that they did make were very big positions of need for them. And I saw a report earlier that said that the Washington football team might even want to take a quarterback in round 1. Kind of touch on that more in the mock draft. But no, they've had a very productive offseason, addressed major positional needs. So they're my winners, one of my winners.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this one because I feel like they're starting to kind of play Moneyball with the quarterback position a little bit. That's not a good thing.
Well, yeah, no, I was agreeing with you.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, Heineke, you got pick 19. You're not going to get a quarterback there, so you're going to have to trade up. I'm just not liking the quarterback situation. I mean, if you're going to bring in somebody for $10 million, well, I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick was a backup for a reason. Let's get that straight. And Mitch Trubisky was out there for $2.5 million. That's what I would have rather done. But, I'll just move it on, make it quick. The Saints are a team that took a loss in this offseason. They lost a ton of players. One big one is Drew Brees.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunate, retired, whatever. They lost Emmanuel Sanders. He's over in Buffalo. They lost Jared Cook. He was okay, but he's over in Chargers. And they lost Trey Hendrickson over in the Bengals. Those are a lot of players. They don't have any money. They're not rebuilding the team. It's looking like it's going to be a down year for him for sure.
Taysom Hill's the answer, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not good.
That was very sarcastic. He's sorry. He's not a starter. Jameis should be the starter. Yeah, definitely losers. They don't have money. They don't pick anywhere in the draft. I mean, they don't have a good pick in the draft. Probably can't get. I mean, not much to say. Well, they lost a lot of position leads. Very bad shape. Thank you. Moving on. Another loser, not a winner. The Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, they bought in Kevin Zeitler. Okay, addressed a positional need. Interior offensive line. They lost Marshall Yanda, and Lamar was running for his life last year. But they lost both edge rushers, Matt Judon and Yannick Ngakoue. Their best edge rusher is Tyus Bowser, I think his name is. It's not anything to be proud of. I mean, he's okay, but he's nothing special. And they missed out on all the top receivers in free agency. This receiving class in free agency was pretty good. Curtis Samuel, Kenny Galladay, Will Fuller, Juju, even though he's sorry. Corey Davis. You had Curtis Samuel. They missed out on all those top guys. They did bring in Sammy Watkins, who was probably like that tier 2 or 3 in the like receiving free agent like hierarchy.
Because of injuries, yeah.
Because of injuries. I mean, when he's healthy, he's okay. But I just don't think that the Ravens have done anything really to address and give Lamar some help, really. I mean, they have Marquise Brown is not a receiver one. I don't know if Sammy Watkins is that receiver one either. They have nothing on the edge, like I said, so they're losers for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably would have been in my losers if they didn't go ahead and get Kevin Zeidler. I think that's going to be huge for him. I think it bolsters that O-line because when you got Ronnie Stanley coming back, Orlando Brown on the other side, if he stays there, if he doesn't get traded, and then Kevin Zeidler, you're kind of putting the pieces together, but they have kind of been dropping the ball a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's going to lead to the next team staying in that division. The Browns are winners for me. I think they bolstered their secondary pretty nicely with John Johnson and Troy Hill out of Los Angeles.
Rams, yeah.
I think it's going to help out huge in the secondary. I mean, the secondary is young, they're developing, and John Johnson's a great safety. They also got Malik Jackson to play a D-line, maybe depth piece, might start, who knows. And they got Tack McKinley, who could also be a depth piece also, might start. I think it's been good signings.
Yeah, I like this absolutely. The Browns were on my honorable mentions list. They didn't quite make the list because I feel like some other teams are better. But like Ryan said, they were a penalty away from going to the AFC Championship last year. If that helmet-to-helmet call got called against the Chiefs. But I like what the Rams are doing. Their secondary.
The Browns.
The Browns. I said the Bears.
You said the Rams.
The Rams. The Browns have a very good young secondary. They got the 2 safeties from the Rams. They got Grant Delpit, who's coming back. They got Ronnie Harrison from the Jags last year. They traded for him. Then they still got Denzel Ward. I don't know what the deal with Greedy Williams is.
I think he was injured, but
injured. I mean, and who's tell them the guy who you think that the Browns are going to get on the edge?
Clowney. If that happens, I mean.
That's scary.
Miles Garrett. That's the best edge rushers. I mean, that's the team with the best edge rushers. And with them 2 guys coming, your corners don't need to be that good.
Yeah.
Even if you have Denzel Ward, I mean.
Yeah, but I definitely agree with you with the Browns being winners. Had a productive offseason. I think they'll be big contenders next year. Especially they're getting Odell back too. So, I mean, the Browns are in a very good spot going into next year. And the draft too. I mean,
yeah.
Touch on that more on the podcast. Be sure to check that out. Link in the description. All right, Browns, another one of my winners, the San Francisco 49ers. They pretty much went out and bought back all of their core guys who they were going to lose. They bought back Kyle Juszczyk, major part of that offense. Bought back Trent Williams, solidified that left tackle spot for the next 6 years is what his contract is. They bought in Alex Mack also to help that interior offensive line, which was pretty thin and not that good on paper or like in play, I guess. They kept all their core guys. That division is another division that's up in the air between all 4 teams. We touched on it last week on the podcast. So I like what they've done this offseason, and, yeah, 49ers winners.
Yeah, I can't argue here. I like the Juszczyk signing, and they also got Samson and Bukum from the Rams.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good signings. I'll just move on to the next. Stay in that division. One of my lost teams this offseason, probably going to disagree a little bit on this one, the Rams. They lost guys such as John Johnson, Troy Hill, Samson Bukum, Gerald Everett, Morgan Fox. Pretty good guys. And they also got their franchise quarterback in, Matt Stafford. I think we all know
I think it was a great sign, great
not a fan of Matt Stafford. They traded away a lot of picks in order to get Matt Stafford. I think it hurts them for the future. They already don't have any money. They don't have draft picks. Their team is not going to win anything because they have Matt Stafford. So it's an L in my book.
I'm going to have to disagree with Ryan with that cold-heartedly. Think the Rams are definitely a team that could win now. They were just in the Super Bowl 2 years ago? 3 years ago? It was 2018.
I think that was when.
It was like 3 years ago. I mean, they pretty much, they upgraded at quarterback. Matt Stafford's a lot better than Jared Goff. No knock against Jared Goff. He's okay, but Matt Stafford's a lot better. They have the best corner in the league, best defensive tackle in the league. Their offensive core is solid. They got Cam Akers, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee. Cooper Kupp, offensive core solid. I think if they can scrape together, figure out a way to win a division, I think that they'll be set. I like the Matt Stafford move. Matt Stafford's a quarterback I think that can help you win now. I think he can definitely help them win now, which is, like I say all the time, they're definitely a position where they need to win now.
Matt
So I'm going
Stafford
to disagree with you on that.
yet to win a playoff game, and talk to me when he does win one.
So
That's all I have to say on that.
we'll be talking about it in the playoffs when they come on next season.
I quote it. Show this clip. I don't
Clip
care.
it. Looks like all the Twitch streamers say, clip it in the
Clip it
chat.
right
But all right, you said the Rams, and another loser of the offseason that I had, the Green Bay Packers. See, the Packers, they didn't have to do much. Bring in another corner that's not named Kevin King.
Yeah.
Bring in a receiver to help out Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. But they decided to go out, lose Corey Linsley, don't bring in a receiver, re-sign Kevin King. The good thing they did do was bring back Aaron Jones. I don't know if this, I mean, they let Jamal Williams walk, okay. I saw that coming when they brought back Aaron Jones, but you just took A.J. Dillon in the second round, which essentially they took a backup running back in the second round when they need receiver, edge rusher, offensive line. Packers not looking good. Aaron Rodgers did just win MVP. They did just lose in the NFC Championship to the Buccaneers, Tom Brady and the boys. Love them. But I don't think they're in a good spot at all. They need receiver help. They need a corner. They need some help on defense entirely. Their defense outside of Jair Alexander, they don't have much.
No, I mean, I think they're losers for sure. I mean, personally, what I would have done is let Aaron Jones walk. Yes, it sucks. Sign back Jamal Williams. Use A.J. Dillon, Jamal Williams. Use the money that you signed Aaron Jones for and go get a receiver.
Yep.
And that solves a lot of problems. There's also
Absolutely.
a couple veteran corners out there that might work.
Probably a lot better than Kevin King. He's sorry. He got exposed
better.
in the NFC Championship. He's a
I'm
bum.
really surprised they brought him back. He sucks.
I mean,
I don't really have much
That's
to
what
say
you got to do
about
to
him.
get a contract. I'll go sit
Yeah,
play
I'll
some
go do
corner.
that. I'll go let Scotty Miller burn me. But I mean, yeah, anyways, I'll just jump to the next team. Winners for me, the Jets. Mostly
Boo.
because probably the Corey Davis signing is really what did it for me. I think that was a great signing. I think he has potential to be a top 20 receiver in the league. They got him for $13.5 million, similar to Nelson Aguilar. So I think that was a great signing. I'm just going to keep dropping that one so he gets it clear. They also got guys like Carl Lawson, Sheldon Rankins, and LaMarcus Joyner. They're trying to beef up that defense. We know it's a defensive coach.
Yeah.
They're kind of getting things on track. I like the Corey Davis signing. They're going to get whatever quarterback happens. They got him some help in Corey Davis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. I'm hearing mixed reports that they told Corey Davis that Sam Darnold was going to be the corner, and then there's other reports saying that they're going to draft Zach Wilson at 2. I don't really know what's going on there.
No idea.
I said it on the podcast. What they do at that pick is going to shape the way the rest of the early first round goes, trades, all that stuff. But the Jets, they're the Patriots' division rivals, but I do agree that they've had a pretty productive offseason and free agency so far. Moving on to another loser, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Corvette. They bought back Juju, okay. He thrives in the offense. He's a good receiver, too. He's a top-tier receiver, 2. Low-end receiver, 1.
They have no receiver ones.
Yeah, I mean, unless you view
A bunch of
Claypool.
2s.
Yeah, they have three great second receivers. They lost Alejandro Villanueva, left tackle. He's still a free agent. They could bring him back. I don't know. There's still time left before the draft and all that stuff. And they don't have a corner. Joe Hayden's the only corner I can name on that team, and he's sorry. They cut. I don't remember their names. Steven Nelson
and Mike Hill.
Steven Nelson and Mike Hilton lost both of them guys. Joe Hayden's the only corner. He's sorry. Still got some pretty good pieces on defense. Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Minka, just some guys off the top of my head. But other than that, they're not in a good spot. Talked about it on the podcast. I don't think that their future for them is very bright. I feel like they lost this offseason definitely so far.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely need to revamp the defense in the draft. And the problem is they just keep getting defense, and the offenses ain't coming up. So, yeah, I think they can be losers for sure if they don't get some corners. But that's going to lead to the next team.
The final team.
This is going to cause a lot of debate. Losers for me.
Winners for me.
Winners for him. The New England Patriots. I'll let you start this one off since they're your team. Why do you think they're winners?
The New England Patriots are winners. The Patriots have 4 positions of need going into this offseason. Quarterback, wide receiver, 5, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, middle linebacker, and interior defensive lineman, 6 edge rusher. Sorry. Okay, so tight end, traded up, took tight ends back-to-back in the 3rd round, Devin Asiasi, Dalton Keene. I think that they would have been good if they had a good tight end to develop behind because of the pivotal role a tight end plays in the Patriots offense. But Ryan Izzo was the starter, and he is a sorry bum. He's garbage. Okay, they bring in Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, 2 top tight ends in free agency. The Patriots thrive with good tight ends in the offense. You saw what they did with Gronk and Aaron Hernandez before.
Keep going.
Yeah, I think that that's great for them. They got Cam Newton back. I was very hard on Cam Newton. Thing is, he didn't have much help. There was no off-season training camp. He didn't really know he was going to be the starter until week 1. They traded back for Trent Brown, which was huge. They got rid of Marcus Cannon's contract and traded a 5th-round pick for Trent Brown. Steal. And they bought in Matt Judon. Patriots were bottom 4 of the league in sacks last year, and bringing in a guy like Matt Judon helps substantially.
So I'm going to go ahead.
And also, sorry, I know you're about to say it, they bought in Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, receivers that fit the Patriots scheme great. They do what Bill likes in a receiver on the offense. I mean, Edelman, sorry. N'Keal Harry, sorry. Then we don't really have much else at receiver. So I'm not saying that they're the saviors of the offense, but they definitely are upgrades than what we have.
So I'm going to go ahead and say why they are losers. You cannot interrupt me in this spiel that I'm about to go on. So I'm going to start off with a compliment. I like Trent Brown and I like Matthew Judon. That's fine. Now I'm going to get into what I don't like. I don't like Hunter Henry. He's hurt every year. That's true. Jonnu Smith started off on fire and he crashed. Straight down. I had him in fantasy. I know. It went from beautiful
I traded him to you.
Injuries.
Injuries?
So
he
got
hurt for a minute, I feel like.
2 tight ends that get hurt.
Barely.
That's fine. Hunter Henry's not barely. Hunter Henry's every single year he gets hurt.
Barely.
Johnny okay. Hunter Henry's hurt. Now let me move on to the receivers. Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne. I mean, really? You told me that Julian Edelman and the rest of the guys are sorry. So now we're going to pretend like Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne are good. Nope, you can't say a word. Corey Davis got signed for the same amount as Nelson Aguilar. I'm going to keep that how it is. And when you overpay at the start, you get guys like Corey Davis that get paid less and who are better. There are stats that prove that teams that overspend in free agency don't do good.
Ryan Sawyer. 2
teams that do this all the time are the Jets and the Jaguars. They spent the most money since, I think, like 2015, 2016 in free agency, and they're 2 sorry franchises. So the best way to attack free agency is to be patient and get deals. The Patriots, they did not do that. They went out there and got bums and paid them over what they should be. Matthew Judon and Trent Brown were great. The rest made them losers.
Okay. I will go say this. Nelson Aguilar, I agree he's sorry. I'll give him a chance because he's a Patriot. I will agree he's sorry. I think he's a bum. He had a bounce back year with the Raiders. Hopefully he comes. I'm not a big guy at dropping balls. Julian Edelman and N'Keal Harry both can't catch. If Aguilar can't catch, you're going to see me on Twitter probably ran and cussing him out. Kendrick Bourne, I don't have much to say. But Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, I think that was our biggest signings. You gotta look. Bill Belichick knows what he's doing. He's not gonna go give random guys money if he didn't think that they were gonna be good in the offense, in the system. Patriots offense, 2 tight ends. Every time we've had 2 good tight ends, Ben Watson and Gronk and Hernandez.
Are you comparing Hunter Henry to one of the greatest tight ends that ever played football in Robert Gronkowski?
Principle. I'm a man of principle, and I'm saying when the Patriots have run 2 tight end sets, they've achieved and been very, very successful with their offense.
I mean, They overpaid. I mean, Jonnu and Hunter Henry aren't special freaks of nature like he thinks they are. They're the third highest paid tight ends in football, correct?
Yep.
I mean, that should say it enough.
Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft are playing chess, not checkers. They know what they're doing.
And then they brought back Cam Newton and paid him more than he had touchdowns. That's kind of all I have to say there. His contract is more than how many touchdowns you see.
Not wrong. Well, his contract, again, it's mostly incentive based. It's just a higher base salary.
Mostly incentives. It's 100. Look, the numbers say that they paid him higher than how many touchdowns he threw. And then they overpaid guys on Hunter Henry and Johnny Smith and Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. That's how I feel. I think if they would have brought in Corey Davis instead of Nelson Aguilar, I'd have a whole different outlook. If they brought in Will Fuller instead of Nelson Aguilar, I'd have a whole different outlook. But they just overpaid.
I think we're going to have to agree to disagree with this one.
Probably.
Yeah, not much else to say. Winners and losers. Just some guys. I had some honorable mentions. We touched on the Browns. They were one of Ryan's winners. Some other honorable mention winners. The Cardinals. They had a pretty productive. They got A.J. Green, receiver 2. J.J. Watt. Guys like that. The Bengals, another team. They got some positional needs. Got Chidobe Awuzie, and I don't remember the other corner. The guy from the Steelers.
It's either Mike Hilton or Steven Nelson.
One of them, Trey Hendrickson. And then the Panthers bought in. They didn't make many moves. Cause some guys restructured some contracts, but they bought in Hassan Reddick, who's another that's
overrated.
Very good pairing across from Brian Burns, rushing the edge. I think that was a win, but those are some honorable mention guys I had, and I don't really have much else to say.
I'll throw in an honorable mention winner for me, and that's the Chargers. They got Corey Linsley and a guard from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's great that they're boosting up the O-line, giving Herbert some help.
Yep.
Just wraps it up.
Cool.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this week's exclusive segment from the greatest podcast on turf.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe if you're new. All our links in the description. Check out the full podcast. We did a mock draft, updated with all the trades. Greatest podcast on turf mock draft 2.0. Be sure to check that out.
100% accuracy.
Our mock draft we just did is exactly how the draft is going to go.
Yep.
Enough said. See you guys next week. Peace.